Wylek didn't hesitate for a second before thrusting his hand into the gears. As the horse pulled, the excruciating pain almost made him lose consciousness. His once healthy palm was instantly reduced to a mangled mess, with blood spurting everywhere. The farm owner saw this and rushed to take him to the hospital. However, when the lead surgeon discovered that Wylek was Jewish, he immediately refused to treat him. "I can't risk my future for this," the doctor said coldly. And so, Wylek was left on a hospital bed in the waiting room, tortured by pain, left to fend for his life. It wasn't until the next day that the hospital director found the poor boy. Furious, he scolded the heartless doctors. If he'd been treated in time, his hand could have been saved. But now, it's too late. Whether he survives depends on fate. When Wylek woke up again, his entire arm had been amputated. He had never felt so broken, tears streaming down his face uncontrollably. But the surgeon who had once abandoned him, upon seeing Wylek's miraculous recovery, felt an overwhelming sense of injustice. Quietly, he reported to the Nazi soldiers that there was a Jewish boy in the hospital. Luckily, with help from fellow patients, Wylek managed to escape the hospital ahead of the soldiers. However, now armless and homeless, he found himself lost once more. For an ordinary person, losing an arm might be a hardship, but for a Jew like Wylek, it meant even more rejection. Already unwelcome in society, he was now seen as a monster by others. No one was willing to take him in. He had to survive on snails and wild fruits. One day, Wylek found himself on a vast plain and saw the Soviet army advancing toward Berlin. At that moment, he knew that the war was finally coming to an end. On April 30th, 1945, when the Soviet troops captured Berlin, Wylek, staying at a farmhouse, rushed to the church and rang the long-neglected bell. In that instant, he realized that there was no longer any need to hide his identity. Eventually, Wylek traveled to Israel with another Jewish man. There was a time when he had hated being Jewish. It was his identity that had subjected him to suffering that number 13-year-old should ever endure. But when he returned to his hometown and passed by the door of his once lively home, all the hatred and resentment melted away. He finally understood that the happy memories of the past were what truly mattered, and they were the things he held most dearly in his heart.